Okay, my name is Paul MacDougall, and we're here with Frank Macdonald today. Frank hails from the town of Inverness in Inverness County, Cape Breton. Frank is the author of three novels: A Forest for Calum, which came out in 2005, A Possible Madness, which came out in 2010, and the brand new Tinker in Blue, as you can see here in our poster right there, which is out in the fall of 2014. His first two novels were longlisted for the Impact Dublin Book Award, which is a major book award, and as well as for Atlantic Book Awards as well. He's also written a children's book, TR's Adventures at
Angus the Wheelers.
At Angus the Wheelers, a lovely book illustrated by Virginia McCoy. And he's written, he's a columnist for the Inverness Oran. He's written poetry, short stories, all kinds of other things, plays as well. And in 2010, his play Her Wake won the Liverpool International Play Festival Award. So we'd like to welcome Frank.
Thank you very much, Paul.
So I think what we'll start off today with is we'll start off with Tinker in Blue. Why don't you just tell us something about your new book, Tinker in Blue, what it's about, where the idea came from?
Well, Tinker in Blue is the story of it's a story set from the summer of '68 to the summer of '69. Tinker in Blue are a couple of buddies from Cape Breton Island who decide to drive out to San Francisco and look at hippies. And so they make the trek. They drive their 1957 Plymouth across the U.S., reach San Francisco, find Haight-Ashbury, which was their destination, and get involved in the counterculture. So I had a rather delightful time mixing the Cape Breton culture and the counterculture together in this this story. That's
so where did this notion come from to take Cape Bretoners off of the islands and drive them halfway across the continent?
In '68, myself and two friends, Tom Ryan and Bunny McKaysey.
You would have only been about two then, right?
Oh, just a child. I can barely remember. I'm only repeating in there what I was told.
Okay.
Okay. And and we drove across to San Francisco, and now our experience in Haight-Ashbury lasted like half an hour.
Okay.
Before we had to go and find something to eat, and knew our money was running out. We had to get back to Canada. So. But it played in my head about what I could do with that. And I think originally I began writing it just as a short story for the guys involved, you know.
Right.
It kind of got away on me. Nobody that's involved in the stories is recognizable. They may want to be.
Right.
Yeah. But it's a story that I'd worked on, come back to a few times, and then when I did show a copy of the manuscript to Mike Hunter, the publisher, he was interested in taking it out. So I spent the last year reworking it for the final time, and now we're about to see if people enjoy reading as much as I enjoyed writing it.
Yeah, I'm intrigued with the notion of, so, you know, 67, 68, this is summer of love and all this kind of, this time period and all that, and people were actually like driving out to California and all this, and this was a common thing. Did you meet other people along the way driving out in that destination, or is this
Oh, it was come and go. No, I met a lot more people, you know, a couple of years later, hitchhiking down to New Orleans, San Francisco,
yeah.
Central America. We didn't meet an awful lot of people along the way. We just knew where we were going.
Right.
we weren't exactly sure how to get there, but it was on the other side of the continent. And but the whole of North America was people coming and going and picking up hitchhikers and picking up, you know, culture of the times.
Right. So how does a young person, few young guys, teenagers or 20s or whatever, 1967, where do they get this notion of all what's going on? Is this basically, I mean, back in Cape Breton and Inverness, you're lucky to have the CBC on television and one radio station maybe in the newspaper. How does everybody know what the heck is really going on?
Paul, the Inverness County and Cape Breton generally, Inverness County, Inverness is one of the most educated populations in North America because of the amount of traveling that we're, you know, most Cape Bretoners need to leave the island for work or for whatever reason. They see what's going on. We had freaks coming back of our own before hippies crossed the causeway, you know, because they got to Toronto or they got into whatever. And so, so it was quite a natural, mixture. And a large number of people came to Inverness County, some forming communes or whatever, and generally the mix was very comfortable between local population and people who came. So so yeah, there was it was almost a natural trip to make, and you know, and the reason thinking of Lodi side on San Francisco is because Cape Bretoners go to Toronto, they go to Sudbury, they go to Boston. Nobody ever goes to San Francisco, so we'll do something really different.
And the Cape Bretoners going to those other places you mentioned, usually they're going there to work. This is kind of like almost a pilgrimage.
Well, it's a curiosity.
A curiosity,
and most of, when we say people going away to work, Cape Bretoners go away to come home. You know, they got to work the 10 months. They spend their weekends in bars or finding places to have fun. And so they're, you know, if you're working in the northern mines or something, you might not have a lot of exposure to what's going on in the rest of the continent. But if you're working in Toronto, if you're working in Boston, you're very tuned into whether or not you're part of it. You're very alert to the changes that are going on, there were changes, a lot of them that appealed to a lot of people from home, so they make their way back.